because the cover photo is literally just Donald Trump.
Yeah, but that's all right. That's just to make people laugh.
Just checking. Just checking.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Trump or Bean or something.
No, there were a lot of those
Bean
though.
or
I did.
How much data on your phone?
That's a good idea. I'm gonna go get my dad's iPad because his work iPad is unlimited or something stupid. So,
Oh, cracking.
Crack-a-lackin'.
Let me go. Oh, but now it's sending. Now it's fine. Now it's back to normal.
This is what happens with the Virgin thing. Maybe have your dad's iPad as a standby.
Yes. Okay, let's do that. Okay.
I made that noise.
Let me start.
Standby.
Oh, I should do what I did.
It's simple, right? Okay, so not that simple, but here's an easier way of remembering it. The chemical formula for water is H2O. And yet, H2O appears in 3 different states. It appears as water. It appears as ice. And it also...
Coat screen looks good. Main screen looks good. Is Katie hidden? Yeah.
I think there are more people this time who are going to try and like.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening and welcome to Satellites Live once again.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of Satellites Live. It's the night before lockdown, and all through Reigate, people are rushing to do last-minute bits of shopping, and I don't know, but going out for dinner, and sort of, there's a funny air to this town, isn't there, right now, as we're about to batten down the hatches again once more, unless you're a young person, in which case life sort of carries on. So hello to all of you. Joining us this evening. We are doing the Alpha series, as you know, and as always, there's me, Martin. There's, as always, Charles on what appears to be a passenger jet.
Yeah, coming home. Obviously, my holiday got cancelled, so coming back home early. Yeah.
That's the gag. That's the whole gag there.
Yeah. That's it.
That's the whole thing. Throwing a bit of air stewardess stuff as well.
The exits are here, here, here. Well, actually, anywhere, because I'm just in a room. So
that's true.
Yeah.
And also we have over here. Over here we have a special guest host about to be revealed. Very excited about who we have this evening. Can you guess, Charles?
Is it Mr. Bean?
No, it's not Mr. Bean. Any other guesses?
No.
Okay, great. Let's hopefully to inject some hilarity and momentum into this evening. Let's welcome our special guest host. It's Katie.
Hey! Hello.
Katie, save us. This has been an awful start. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm sorry to disappoint that I'm not Mr. Bean.
That was quite a good Mr. Bean.
Disappoint. That did not disappoint. That was what we needed. We needed Mr. Bean impressions. Who knew?
Oh no.
Right. Please, this evening, send in phrases that you'd like Katie to say as Mr. Bean. That's going to save this evening, I can tell you right now. So welcome, Katie. How are you?
I'm really good. I'm really, really happy to be here.
Have you locked your children in a cupboard or something?
Yes, I have.
And
Don't tell anyone.
Just to clarify,
oh no, I just told everyone.
Looking, you haven't really.
No, I haven't.
Okay. Very good. But yeah, how are you feeling about the next few weeks? Can I ask you that? Like we're just on the eve of lockdown 2. How's it feel?
It feels weird, doesn't it? It feels very strange because it's not as strict as it was before. So in many ways, like for me, the girls can still go to school and they can still have access to, their friends and a much better education than my homeschooling. So that's not a massive change for us. And my life probably won't be impacted too much, but it's just the knowledge of that restriction, isn't it? It just feels a bit heavy on our hearts because it's knowing that you can't do the things that you might want to do.
What shop do you feel like you're gonna go out? You're gonna leave the house to go to a shop, and then you're gonna remember you can't go to that shop. What's the one you're really gonna miss?
Oh, you're gonna laugh. I literally went to the shops for the first time since February in half term.
Oh, fun.
I know. I just don't really go to the shops.
All right. What about you, Charles? Do you go to the shops?
Not really. I'm more sad that Milk, the comic book shop, is closing down in Reigate.
Oh, it's properly closing though, isn't it?
Properly closing, yeah, in December. So I went in there the other day to get some comics for myself because I'm a nerd.
We're all doing Mr. Bean impressions now.
Don't know who that was, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, this is a fun new segment we'll be doing every week called "Do You Go to the Shops?" We'll bring that back next time and see what next week's guest host makes of it. Right, we're going to move on. We've got lots to get through, lots of fun, hopefully. And the custom that we have here on Satellites Live is that the guest host does the notices. I can't remember if we told you that, Katie.
Yeah, no, so you can do no. That's
Come on, so
fine.
do the notices. please.
Okay, so guys, as usual, we're going to have a Kahoot quiz. So if you can make sure that you've either downloaded the app or alternatively, you can access it via kahoot.it. We will be playing Kahoot shortly, so make sure that you are ready. WhatsApp, if you are in years 7 to 13 and you would like to stay in touch and keep informed, then you can join our WhatsApp group. So if you could just ask a parent to email Martin, then he can add you to that group. Instagram, are you on Instagram? Would you like to follow Satellites? If so, you can find us at St Mary's_satellites. Soul Survivor podcast. If you are looking for some soul food, why not check out Soul Survivor's podcast, which is called Take Heart, and that's brought to you. What's the faces?
Someone's got a script.
Someone is prepared. That's called Take Heart, and it's brought to you twice weekly by Mike Pilibacci and Andy Croft. And you can find that either on the Soul Survivor Watford website or on YouTube. And there's a whole back catalogue, so you can access that as and when you need, guys. And don't forget that we live stream our Sunday morning services. They're live streamed from 10:30, or you can join us at 10 o'clock and you can get to see the lovely Charles and Jen as they do their children's bit. That's on the St Mary's Reigate YouTube channel. And if you're not a morning person, the great news is they're recorded, so you can catch up at any time. Oh, finally and excitedly, there's a new book called We Are Satellites, and it's not just going to look good on your bookshelf, it's going to inspire and encourage you. And the great news is it's written for young people just like you. So I was going to say go out and get your copy today. You can order it online at all reputable online bookstores. Yeah?
Very good, Katie. That was, I think it's fair to say, the best notices we've ever had.
Yeah, I agree. That was incredible.
Absolutely
you.
amazing. Well done.
Just said on the chat, by the way, Martin, take notes. Someone is planning what they're saying. Don't know what that's alluding to, but
Wow.
our scripted banter at the beginning is always great.
That's right. I noticed today, not that I was looking at Amazon and whether anyone had bought my book yet, but I noticed today that I was number 37 in a category on Amazon called books about spirituality or Christianity for teenagers.
Oh.
And I'm pretty sure no one has brought out a book on Christianity for teenagers in the last couple of years. So to be number 37 with the only book that's out on that topic is quite impressive, I think.
Where's the man you made to be on that list?
It's not. It doesn't feature. It's so far down. It's so.
Can we
far
move
down.
on to the quiz now?
I need to do another notice.
Okay.
And that is not to ask your parents to immediately buy my book. The notice is space. So space has had a little bit of an on-off kind of time of it recently. So we were stopping space, and then you all said how much you loved it. So by popular demand, the plan was to bring it back. Would you believe it? This Sunday night, and we were going to be able to do space in the church centre, social distanced. You may have guessed we can't do that because of the lockdown. So we are now reevaluating how we can deliver that and what we can do, but we don't want to rush something and essentially do an awful job, because as Katie is proving, things are much better when you actually plan them. And so there's no space this week. So this Sunday evening, there's nothing on for you, but we'll be hoping to do something on Sundays in the near future. However, big news about next week's Satellites Live, because for lockdown, for the next 4 weeks, Satellites Live will not be an hour. It'll be an hour and a half starting at 6:30. So for the first half an hour from 6:30 till 7, there will be all sorts of fun, games and incredulity. And then, is that the right word?
I don't know. It sounds painful.
Japery. There will be japery from 6:30 till 7. And then we'll carry on doing the Alpha series from 7 till 8. So join us from next week at 6:30. There endeth the extra notices. Sorry.
So it's a good notice there to have.
Yes. Do you want to fill a bit, because the next bit's me?
Yes, I don't know if you heard. There was like a load of fireworks going off. So if you saw me like jumping around, I didn't know what was happening. But people are going early with the fireworks because it's tomorrow. It is tomorrow. I just had to check that it is actually tomorrow rather than tonight. But and be safe with fireworks, kids.
Great, thanks, Charles. So back to me. We're going to do a Kahoot. I don't know about you guys. I think this is going really well tonight. No, you don't put that page. That's
the page. I'm sorry.
Right, Ollie's
I'm ready
on the mic.
Oh, this is gonna bring Kahoot music as well. This is
Ollie,
Everyone calm down
can they
for a
hear
second.
you?
Yes,
Can
they
they hear
can
you?
now. They can.
Okay, great.
Okay, there we go. It was prepared.
So tonight's code is what, Ollie?
Can you not read it? It is
No.
554-8107.
Great.
Yeah.
So we'd love you to join us for the quiz. You need to, on your Kahoot app or on kahoot.it, put in that code 554-8107. We love the comedy names. One other thing to say, of course, as we've been doing through the course of this Satellites Live Does Alpha series, we've got lots of ways of communicating. So there's the comments on the live chat on YouTube, or you can talk in the WhatsApp groups, or there's an anonymous way to get involved on something which I can't remember the name of. What's it called?
Poll Everywhere, I think.
Okay, so we do this anonymous link where you can send us your anonymous answers. So we'd love you to get involved in today's Satellites Live by sending us your messages and thoughts and things. And one special challenge for you, it's remarkably easy to make Katie Cornish cry. And so I thought it'd be really fun if people could send in their best efforts at, a sentence, a phrase, something that might make Katie cry. Obviously, we'll discern whether we can read them out or not. But, it's a challenge, isn't it? To see if we get. It's not hard. I've seen Katie cry at ducks walking in the park, an episode of Supervet. She
Supervet,
often
every
cries.
time.
Even mentioning that episode of Supervet, I can see her welling up right now. I love it. So you can send all that in as well if you get bored of the quiz. How are we doing for quiz names? Who's entered, Ollie?
We are doing brilliantly. I don't want to tell too many because there are a lot about the election, and I fear you will say something that we don't want you to say. But there are a lot, like Ollie for the president, which is a great one. We've got Rick Ashley has joined us, along with Eliza Hamilton is back, Frazzles, and we have Cornish Bean. I assume that's aimed at you, Katie. Yes. We did have We Love Katie.
That's going to make me cry.
Well, no,
well done, you.
Bring the tears back in because they have left.
They changed their mind.
Anyway, we have Broccoli is here. Kahoot Kangaroo is back. And we have We Love Katie is back. Don't worry, Katie. You can cry again.
Right, don't start the quiz just yet, Ollie, because we had a lot of trouble with that last week. So just to explain today's quiz, it is a Who Said It quiz. And so you will get a quote, most of which will be on the screen, but you might get a bit of extra if you listen to me. And then there'll be 4 names, and you have to figure out who said the quote. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All clear. Great, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's hope it's not too close tonight or someone will demand a recount.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Question 1. This is a quote. There is absolutely no one apart from yourself who can prevent you in the middle of the night from sneaking down to tidy up the edges of that hunk of cheese at the back of the fridge. Who said that? Was that Boris Johnson, Homer Simpson, Joe Wicks, or Donald Trump?
Oh.
Do you ever tidy up the hunk of cheese at the back of your fridge, Charles?
No, but I have a thing about butter. I like to make sure that the butter's nice and smooth in the pot. I don't like it when it's got like chunks out of it. I have to go back and like smooth it out.
I think the idea with this though is that you're nibbling like a mouse.
Oh.
Well, that's extraordinary.
Yeah.
So the correct answer, I don't think that's ever happened. The correct answer is actually Boris Johnson, the British Prime Minister. And only one person got that right.
Oh, this is going to be so exciting.
So that is a very strong start to today's quiz.
Wow.
Let's see what that does to the
Please be
leaderboard.
Boris
Let's
Johnson.
see who the only... Kahoot Kangaroo was the only person to get that. That is
Well done.
exciting.
Wow. Well, we better move on.
Yes.
Here's quote number 2. Facts are meaningless. You could use facts to prove anything that's even remotely true. Facts are meaningless. You could use facts to prove anything that's even remotely true. Is that Donald Trump, Boris Johnson, Homer Simpson, or Joe Biden?
Oh,
Oh gosh.
I thought you were going to say Joe Wicks again.
Yes,
That was his last appearance.
I feel there are a couple of names that I feel like ignore the facts on here. So
Hang on. Steady.
What? Yeah.
If I'm not allowed to be political.
Yeah. What?
Well-
What's going on? What is going on?
Unbelievable. Unbelievably, one person has got that right
Oh,
again.
please be Hoot Kangaroo.
It's Homer Simpson is the correct answer there. That's Homer Simpson. Only one person got that right, so it really is all to play for. Who got that right? Let's see.
It was Mini Begsy. Wow. That is
Well done.
gosh.
Can I point out that I got ribbed for a quiz where no one got answers right? And just want to point that out.
Can I say, great job, Chloe, Pepper, Becky number 1, and hand sanitizer, who
Yes.
have managed to make the leaderboard without getting anything right.
Yes.
Question number 3. I want to eat a fried spider. I want to eat a fried spider.
Ooh.
Was that Nicki Minaj, Ariana Grande, Donald Trump, or Cardi B?
Say,
No
say
idea
the
whether
first
I
one.
said those right.
Say the first one again.
Nicki Minaj.
Why are you putting this weird like shh at the end of it?
Nicki Minaj. Is that all right?
That's fine. I was also really confused because I forgot we were playing a quiz and I thought you were just randomly shouting, I want to spider. I was really confused for a second.
Oh,
I better
some
say
people got that right.
Yes, finally.
Well done. Okay, so let's see what that's done to the leaderboards. Haven't you got that right? It was Cardi B.
Ooh, Mini Begsy is still in the lead, but Broccoli has pulled into second place, which is very exciting. And suspiciously, Zachary and Naomi are in 5th. No, I'm joking. Martin is here that he could not be helping.
They do get very upset if you suggest some sort of vote tampering system.
Oh, yeah, we've had enough of that. So
All right. Should we do question number 4?
Yes.
let's do it.
People who don't think probably don't have brains. Rather, they have grey fluff that's blown into their heads by mistake.
Oh,
Who said that? Was that Donald Trump? Winnie the Pooh?
You spelled Donald Trump wrong.
Roald Dahl? What did I put?
There's an H instead of an M.
Donald Troop.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if it was the German philosopher Donald Troop. Winnie the Pooh, Roald Dahl, or Boris Johnson?
Oh.
I think I know this one.
Oh.
A lot of people knew it.
Oh, good old
It was Winnie the Pooh.
Oh dear.
Do a bit more, do a bit more.
Oh no. It was me, Winnie the Pooh.
That was good. I like
Later on, can we do a little skit with Winnie the Pooh meets Mr. Bean?
that. Yeah.
Let's practice that in the break. Right, what's that done to the scores, Ollie?
Oh, well, Kahoot Kangaroo has shot back up into first, but West Ham Martin is now in second, followed by Rick Ashley and US election, which we'll swiftly move on from.
Is that US election or is that us
election.
election?
Wow.
different.
Yeah, that's a good point. Could
Might not
us
be
election.
political at all.
True.
I mean, I think we can allow. It's not exactly biting satire, is it, to call yourself US election?
Yeah, no.
I think we can let that go.
No, I was just more concerned about what you might say if we bring up the US election.
You are the danger. in
Yeah.
this.
I have no problem with their names.
It's fine. It's fine. I'm not going to say anything. Right, number 5. The Bible had 20, 30, 50 characters in it. You don't think I would be one of the characters in the modern Bible? Was that Kanye West, Donald Trump, David Walliams, or Homer Simpson?
Ooh.
It's a good
I mean,
one,
I'd
that,
like
isn't
to
it?
see Homer Simpson in the Bible, to be fair.
Katie, who do you think that is?
Oh, I don't know. I'd probably be wrong and go for Donald Trump.
It does sound like Donald Trump.
It's, yeah.
It sounds like him, but then,
Oh.
Well,
It
It
was.
wasn't him.
Oh.
It was actually Kanye West,
A
who
good
says a lot of
friend.
things that sound quite a lot like the things Donald Trump says.
Yeah.
But only 4 people got that right. So what's that done to the scores, Ollie?
Let's have a look. Ooh, West Ham
Ooh.
Martin is shot into first, and Biggles is in third.
Who's
very
Biggles?
exciting.
I
Biggles,
love
don't
that
know.
name.
It's great.
How do you do the Biggles thing? Do you know that one?
What? That's Biggles?
Biggles,
I thought
yeah.
that
I can't do it with my glasses
No,
on.
I thought that's Deli
Okay.
Alley.
What's that?
Isn't that Deli Alley?
Deli Alley?
Yeah, I thought that was his thing.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
I thought Biggles were like a knockoff version of the Wiggles.
Wiggles.
Oh, I love Wiggles.
Of course you do. Question number 6. Sorry, losers and haters, but my IQ is one of the highest, and you all know it. Please don't feel stupid or insecure. It's not your fault. Was that Homer Simpson, Richard Osman from Pointless, Kanye West again, or Donald Trump?
I mean, the boy in the picture looks like a young Richard Osman.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's to throw me off or not.
Have you got any thoughts? Oh,
Donald Trump.
correct. You're absolutely right.
Wow.
It was Donald Trump, and 12 people got that right. Let's look at the scoreboard.
Ooh, gosh. Kahoot Kangaroo and West Ham Martin are jostling for that first place. And Becky, number 1, has made it onto the leaderboard, so well done, Becky.
And there's Big Biggles on fire.
Yeah, he's on an answer streak, or she, I don't know. He's on an answer streak, so that's very exciting.
Final question to determine this week's winner. And it's been a tough one this week. Aren't we forgetting the true meaning of Christmas? You know, the birth of Santa. Was that Donald Trump, Bart Simpson, Ryland Clark Neal, or Richard Wilson?
I really hope it's Richard Wilson.
That would be great.
That's actually from his interview.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, I was thinking Bart.
I love that quite a few people went for Richard Wilson.
Yeah.
Good play. Well done. No, the answer was Bart Simpson. And that is the end of the quiz. So let's find out who won.
Let's see.
Ollie.
In third place, with 3 out of 7, was Ollie for president. Well done.
Oh.
Congratulations. In second place was Kahoot Kangaroo. And in first place was Biggles.
Oh, Biggles.
Well done,
Well
Biggles.
done, Biggles.
I don't think that's right,
Can't
but
do.
I don't know.
Brilliant.
yeah, that is very exciting.
Well done, Biggles.
I love the fact that they won with 4 out of 7, and in second and third, it was 3 out of 7 questions right. That's a tough one.
Yeah, they were only 4 points apart as well in second and third, so
Ooh.
it's close.
Right, that's enough frivolity. Over to you, Charles.
Thank you. Well, let's cut the frivolity and get into the seriousness of Alpha. No, I'm just kidding. Like, it's still fun, right? And hopefully you're enjoying this. And if you are with a friend, well done, because it's the last time you can be with a friend for a month. But I don't know what I'm saying. That's really harsh. Just going to carry on.
Cut to meeting. Cut to meeting.
Alpha, just cut, Ollie. Just go. Just go.
Hey guys, welcome to another edition of Satellites Does Youth Alpha. I'm Martin.
I'm Charles.
You knew that already. And for the next half an hour or so, we're going to be asking some of the big questions about life and what it's all about. We've got a few questions for you. We're going to kick off with one of those right away. So look, we're going to start the ball rolling here. We are massive fans of a certain time travel based TV show. Is that right?
Yes.
For both of us.
Yeah.
Who's on the shirt today?
This is Back to the Future, actually.
Well, that works perfectly. So we're thinking about time travel. We're both big fans of time travel shows and movies.
Yeah.
Doctor Who,
Yes.
maybe not the last couple of seasons, but apart from that, Love time travel. Love the concept of time travel. Love the idea that you could go back through time, see anything, or into the future, and like maybe even do stuff that changes the past or the future. Really interesting stuff. Charles, if you could go back to any time in history, where would you go and what would you do?
Okay, so I have like two complicated answers for this. The first answer is quite on topic. I'd probably go back to when Jesus was around.
Oh, yeah.
And see like what happened, what went down, witness a few miracles. The second one is I actually would probably just travel back like a few years backwards because like in a way life has never been better than it is now in terms of technology and stuff.
Wow.
Like if you go back to Jesus' days, like you're pooing on the street. Do you know what I mean? Like hygiene-wise, I wouldn't cope going too far back.
You would not cope 5 minutes in a poo on the street culture.
Oh no! If there was any chance of like poo being chucked out of the window in buckets, you know, like you see an old like, no, I'd just be constantly looking up.
You would
and looking like no, I can do it.
I mean, that's a movie. That's a movie right there. Charles Merrick gets sent back into biblical times and has to dodge poo.
Yeah. What about you?
I mean, I just want to see that. I just want to travel back and see that. I agree with you. Like, you don't. We've never had it so good in terms of technology and comfort. But it would be interesting to go back to the time of the ancient Britons, and particularly, I'm thinking King Alfred the Great, that kind of time, when the Viking hordes were attacking, and you had all the kind of the armies of different parts of England kind of fighting each other and fighting. I mean, I would want to be up a tree somewhere. I wouldn't want to actually be down on ground level, and there'd be poo coming out windows all over the place. But I love that period in history. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
You know who got me into that? Harry McIntyre. Because I watched his TV show and it's all about that.
Yeah.
That's interesting-ish. So that's one question, but here's a different question, okay? If you could go back in time and give your past self some advice that perhaps would change some things, you know, if you could go back and give your past self some advice, Charles, when would you go back to and what would you say?
I'd probably tell my 7-year-old self to not give up piano and to carry on playing piano and learn it properly. Because at some point you're going to sit at the piano and only be able to play chords and it's going to sound awful and not as good.
I can't tell whether that's a metaphor.
No, it's a genuine thing. I wish I could play piano properly.
It's a great answer. What's yours?
Great. So remember that you can message us on WhatsApp, or you can follow the link to the Poll Everywhere thing where you can send it anonymously. Nailed it. Or you can comment in the YouTube chat. So the question was, what advice would you give to your past self? And we'll kick off, as always, with our special guest. Katie, what advice would you give to your past self?
Oh, well, I think teenage Katie probably could have benefited from a lot of advice. But if I think of just one piece of advice, I probably would tell teenage Katie to love herself a little bit more. I've always had a heart for other people, but I used to have expectations around them loving me and validating who I was. And obviously, because of the way that the world is, that doesn't always happen in the way that we hope it will. And so I was often left disappointed, discouraged, feeling a little bit empty, a little bit worthless. And so I think if I loved myself a little bit more, I probably wouldn't have looked to others for that validation. So yeah, I would have learned to love myself a little bit more.
Wow. That's a great answer.
It's going to make us cry.
Yeah. Okay, well, over to you guys. Second form, and don't pick music, pick DT or something else. Okay, so making decisions, just calm down a bit. Like, don't get so stressed about 11 plus exam. It really wasn't that bad. Don't believe what everyone says. Half of it isn't true anyway. Yes. Don't let other people bring you down just because they are insecure about themselves. Be yourself. Love that. I would tell my past self to slow down and relax. Enjoy life. Make strong friends early on. Yeah. No, wait. Ollie, you take over.
Yes, we've got a couple here. We've got Just Be Yourself. I like that one. And also, Zachary said he'd tell himself to become a professional FIFA player earlier in life. So
Earlier
like
than
that
7.
yes, it says baby Zachary. So very early, clearly. But yeah, those are anonymous ones.
Just another couple come in. I would tell my past self to slow down and relax and enjoy life. That's a great piece of advice. And also, I love this. Make strong friends early on. I like that. That's wise.
Good. It's really good. Okay.
Anything else?
No, that's fine. Shall we move on to the second part of Alpha then? Yes.
Yes, please.
It's coming.
Oh, it's now.
Now, obviously, time travel's not real.
What?
I know we can't change the past, but we can make the most of our future. And I think if I went back in time, that's what I would probably have said to myself. I said, don't worry, you'll make the most of the future. Don't worry about the fact that at the moment being a teenager sucks. When you go forward, life can be better. That's probably what I would have said. So we can live a life that is totally fulfilling. And like that is the life that God wants us to have. That's the life that we are talking about when we invite you to follow Jesus. A life that is totally fulfilling in a really awesome way. And in the Bible, we've said this before, Jesus says, I have come that they might have life in all its fullness. Or in another translation, I've come that they might have life to the full. Like the fullest possible experience of life comes through living God's way. That's John 10, verse 10. And we talked in a previous episode about how that means more than just enjoying your day, like having pleasant or pleasurable experiences. It's about this deeper sense of meaning and purpose that gives us fulfillment. So Charles is a trained actor, and so I'm going to get you to do a little bit of improv here, Charles.
Great.
So Charles, imagine that you are going to spend a day at your favourite place on earth, Disneyland, on your favourite roller coaster.
Oh, yeah.
And just do Charles Merritt on that first ride, enjoying himself on the roller coaster. Perfect. Okay. There are other people in the building.
I hope that hasn't ruined anyone's recording upstairs.
They may come down now. Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Charles. Exactly what I wanted. Okay, so that is Charles, his favourite place on earth, after a day. Okay, now let's do, Charles, you've now been there for a week. Okay, and you've been riding around the different rides. It's your last day at Disneyland. Give me Charles Merritt on the same roller coaster after a week. So you'll see Charles is still enjoying himself. I mean, Charles looks a little bit like a scary ghost zombie, but that's often the case.
On to the part.
I see. But now we're going to do a final version just for comparison.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, Charles, you've been on the same ride for a year. Okay?
Yeah.
Let's see Charles Merritt on the same roller coaster 1 year on.
Didn't get into drama school.
Such range, darling.
Didn't get into drama school.
I don't understand that. So ultimately, the point is this. You may have seen it coming. There's stuff that gives us short-term pleasure, but ultimately it doesn't give us long-term contentment. That deeper sense of like happiness and life to the full isn't achieved by just doing the fun stuff of the world. Whatever it is, believe me, whatever version of that you want to come up with, it's the same answer. So you'll find people who've had like massive amounts of sex with lots of different people, like Russell Brand. And he will tell you that has been an incredibly unfulfilling life for him. Like he's talked openly about the fact that he wishes he hadn't done that. But you might think, forget that though, but I just want to get loads of money so I can have as much stuff as possible. And actually, there's loads of people who've had that and then realised that when you get all that stuff, there's just nothing there except the quest for more stuff. There's no fulfillment to be had in having a big house. You just want a bigger house because there's always a guy with a bigger house. There's always a guy with a faster car, or you know what I mean. There's never fulfillment. Jim Carrey, who was recently seen in the movie Sonic the Hedgehog, said that he hopes or he wishes that everybody could just have everything they ever wanted, so that they could realise it's not the answer. Which I think is a really fascinating quote. Ultimately, like these short-term pleasurable things that the world around us tells us, this is what you should live for. Work and earn money so you can have these things. Ultimately, it doesn't make you happy. Like day one, Charles. It makes you feel a bit dead, like day 365, Charles. Thanks for your help with that, mate. That was excellent. We might have some more drama opportunities for you later on. So Paul in Romans 12 says this: "Therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship." Then he says this is a really important bit. "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Now, what does that mean? What does that mean? Well, we had that as a Holiday Club memory verse, if you remember. It was awesome. But to conform to the pattern of this world essentially means trying to go for all that stuff we were just talking about. Trying to root your happiness in having more stuff, in having a great career, in having loads of money, in being as attractive as you possibly can. All that stuff. That's what is the pattern of this world. That's what's being offered. But Paul says, don't conform to that. Don't go for that. Instead, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Now, how do you renew your mind? It's by knowing Jesus. That's what that looks like. So in other words, the right way to live, God's perfect way in all its fullness, the way the rest of the world lives. Don't conform to the way everyone else does it. Be transformed by knowing God. But of course, it's not that easy, is it? Because the whole world around us is chasing after the proverbial Disneyland. I mean, not literally, but in some way. And it's hard to change that, especially when you're used to living one way and everyone else around us is doing the same way. So there's this little film we're going to watch now, which is produced by the guys at Youth Alpha, which puts a really interesting take on that.
There was an old woman who day by day walked the streets on which she lived. She was well known for carrying dozens of plastic bags full of trash everywhere she went. She was also notorious for pestering passers-by for money and would be very aggressive to anyone who refused her request for cash, as are many friends. The day came when the old lady passed away, and you would expect that her funeral would be a very small occasion. But surprisingly, a huge crowd gathered, all kinds of well-dressed relatives, top executives, not to mention lots and lots of lawyers. It turned out that while the woman was living on the streets, she had inherited a huge fortune, including a very luxurious apartment with dozens of extremely valuable paintings. But strangely, the woman had chosen to continue to live on the street, just her and her plastic bags full of trash. Apparently, she didn't want to leave behind the life she knew, and so she never got to enjoy her extraordinary inheritance.
Hey, sorry, that is me doing that.
That wasn't funny.
No, it wasn't funny, but I am noticing that we are lagging still. So, just a heads up that we are experiencing technical issues in terms of the internet. So please keep praying, and Ollie will keep working away in the background so that we can live stream. Well, but if you kind of wanted to see that video again, the full alpha video will be up on our page tomorrow. So if you wanted to properly watch that section again, you can do. But the question was, how have you felt pressured to fit in? And I think this is quite a relatable question for all of us. So we'll give you time to type away in the comments and type away in the poll and on WhatsApp. But in the meantime, Katie, how have you felt pressured to fit in?
Oh, rather embarrassingly, probably too many times in my life. I can think of one example though. When I was in my 20s, I'd got a new job, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't expect to get it. But suddenly I found myself in this working environment that was really unfamiliar to me. And I felt like I needed to be a different person to fit in there. It was really corporate, it was really cool, but it was really exciting. But I noticed more and more that every morning when I was putting my suit on, that I felt like I was putting on like a hardened shell.
Just being yourself and having that identity that you've had before when there's so much more pressure around, you think?
I think that comes back to, when I said when I said about my teenage self. Oh, sorry, Charles.
I think the live stream has stopped.
Well, it has stopped. We may have we have hopefully reconnected now.
Okay. Just before you give an amazing answer, Katie.
I believe you're safe to start talking. I don't know. Wi-Fi.
Hello from the internet. We are back on. Thank you. I don't know how much of that you missed. We were talking about how people fit in. Katie gave an amazing answer. She worked for a corporate business, and she felt like she had to really fit in and wear a suit, and it kind of repressed you, I guess, and your emotions, and you became hardened. And then Martin asked Katie, how do you not feel that pressure to fit in? What advice do you have? Katie, pick up from there.
Yeah, I think it goes back to what I was saying about trying to learn to love yourself, because I think the more secure you feel in who you are, the more likely you're going to be true to yourself, and the more authentic you are with your relationships and the people you spend time with. It is so hard, and I certainly don't have all the answers, but I found it a really, really tough period in my life. I really struggled with I constantly felt like I was morphing to be what everybody else might want me to be. But yeah, I think if you just really try to love who you are and who you were created to be, then you will stay more true to that person. And then people will love you for who you truly are, and they will spend time with you for who you are.
Fantastic. Great. Well, it's a great answer. Again, I'm slightly tearing up. Yes. No, thank you for that, Katie. That's really great. Any other answers before we
it's interesting. Someone said about feeling the pressure to fit in at church. I guess that I feel that, like, feeling that you have to be the best Christian, or like whatever it is, that can be really true as well. We are going to move on. I'm hoping that we're still live streaming. We're going to move on to the third part, or the final part. Third part. Let's go for that as an answer. The third part of Alpha.
So, Charles, that last question there, how have you felt pressure to fit in? Have you kind of had experiences of peer pressure, even trying to live God's way? Well, I'm going to kind of conform to what my friends want to do.
Yeah, I think there's been moments where I've wanted to be more attractive or like work out. I've never done it in a public sense of going to the gym with people. But in my bedroom, like, I'd be like, I've got to work out. And I would do like a few press-ups, and I'd be like, yeah, done my job. That's it. That's going to get me ripped for the rest of my life. And it doesn't. And then I studied lose track. That wasn't pretty.
I mean, I had a very different experience when I was at university. I had a group of friends there was lots of kind of male bravado going on, and it was with a group of friends. I just made friends, and they were all talking about all the sexual relationships they'd had. I've talked about this before on our Man You Made to Be podcast, which if you've never watched or listened to, it's pretty much like this, but with less kind of youth alpha content. Yeah. And so I've talked about it on there, but if you haven't heard the story, like, I basically was a total chump, and I just to try to fit in, I claimed that I'd had loads of these sexual relationships. And then a few weeks later, when my best friend from home came up to stay, and they were all like, wow, Martin's had all these girls. And he was like, no, he hasn't. He's like a really like strong Christian. He wouldn't do any of that. And I looked like a total idiot in front of my friends. And my friends, of course, said to me at the time, like, why didn't you just stand for the thing you stand for? maybe I need to let go of this a little bit, but certainly that was what it was like for me to really try and fit. Like, I don't believe that would have, even if I had done that wouldn't have made me any happier. That would have made me maybe a more fulfilled person. But I felt the pressure to conform. So I understand that it's not easy when we say to you, don't conform to what the world wants. Don't try to live for parties and have like really reckless kind of attitudes around drinking and sex and all sorts of other stuff. We know that's not an easy thing to say. It's a very hard thing to say, but it is totally worth. If you are going to follow Jesus, if you're going to put God in the middle of your life, if you really are going to say, it's God is real and I want to follow him, then don't be half-hearted. Like that's sort of pointless, isn't it? Half-hearted Christianity is worse than no Christianity. I mean, it actually says that in the book of Revelation, chapter 3. It's worse, basically worse than no Christianity. And so what life in all its fullness really looks like is actually like involving God in every part of our lives. Now, I'm going to break from the youth alpha bit a bit here, and we're going to be a bit more heavy on the satellites kind of bit here, because as you know, we've been talking about this in our group here for the last couple of years, but we're now working towards the Summer Festival, Satellites Festival in 2021, August 10th to 14th. Make sure your parents don't book a holiday. And at that, we're really talking about what it looks like for you to put God at the centre of your life. And that really, the main idea is, how do we live with God at the centre of our lives? Don't worry, there'll also be football and burger vans. But that's the not in following Jesus, or maybe in following Jesus. But that's really the key idea, is that in order to experience this life in all of its fullness that Jesus talks about, we have to see God right in the middle of everything we do, right in the midst of every part of our lives. So what does that actually mean? What does that look like? We say that a lot. Well, it means that when you go to school and you pass the church centre on your walk up to school, if that happens to be you, that's not the only engagement you're going to have with God over the day, because God's not just waving at you from the church building as you pass it.
I do.
Do you wave to the church?
Yeah, if you walk past our office,
Charles waves at you.
I will wave at you.
Is that why the police were here?
Yeah.
So that's not the only time that God is interested in your first period of the day and your last period of the day. He's interested in your lunch break. He's interested in sport. He's interested in being a part of everything. And what that looks like, that's a bigger question. But God is absolutely in the midst of every part of our lives. And what it means to follow him is to recognize that I don't stop being a Christian just because I'm on the hockey pitch, or because I'm now doing a history lesson or meeting with my friends. I don't stop being a Christian. And God isn't just safely in his box at church. He's with me the whole time. We're going to ask another question, and then we've got a few last bits to do. So we're going to do the question first, and this is really the other side to what it means to live with God at the centre of our lives. Because not only does he just want to kind of be in everything, he's also got a plan for us. He's also got a purpose, and he's got things for us to do in the world. And so we want to ask you what it feels like for you. This idea that God has a purpose for your life.
Great. Apologies for the weird visuals, but hopefully you heard us okay and you got that question, which is, what does it feel like to hear that God has a purpose for your life? We'd love to know. Now, Katie, I know that you have an answer for this one because you were very scared that we hadn't talked about the Bible verse yet, but we have. So please tell us your answer to this question.
Well, I actually find it completely liberating that there is a purpose to my life. I think it was Mark Twain that said that there are two important days in your life: the day that you were born and the day that you find out why. And as you know, like Romans 12:1 and 2 has been massive in my journey of faith. When I heard that you know, do not conform to the pattern of this world, that is freedom, isn't it? Because I think we are so often told what our life plan should look like, but from a worldly perspective, you know, and it's all mapped out, and with that comes failure or pressure, and not meeting the worldly idea of what that should look like for you. But when you know that you've got a purpose, there is freedom from all of that, because all you have to do is look to him, listen to him, and he will guide your steps. And he is such a loving and gentle father that route forward is so much better than trying to listen to the world and what the world thinks that our path should be. So yeah, I find it completely liberating.
Incredible. Thank you, Casey. Gosh, you're so good at these answers. Someone said a sense of security, that he knows what you're going to do in your life, and freedom. It's funny, isn't it? Like, I think some people feel like there's lack of freedom, but actually there is like freedom in the security, if that makes sense. I guess it's a bit scary and cool, but it also makes everything that feels hard, and when you have really bad days or weeks, you know that there's a reason that this is all happening and why it's happening to you. And again, a really good answer. And we kind of come back onto that next week. So that's a good setup for next week's topic. Any other answers, Ollie?
Yeah, we have one answer that says, pressured to go against the purpose that he has given us. I'm worried that we'll get punished if we choose to do the wrong decisions for popularity and approval of others.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I don't know if Martin has something to say about that or not.
Yeah, well, just I think it's important we don't fear God's punishment. We don't think too much about God's punishment, because God's punishment has been dealt with by Jesus. So when we step into life in all its fullness, as we've been talking about, we do so kind of free of the fear of punishment, because that's something that Jesus has dealt with. That doesn't mean we should just carry on living whatever way we want to, which is what Paul says. Shall I go on sinning then? By no means. Actually, it should be, we should live our lives in a good way in response to what Jesus has done, not in order to like earn Jesus doing that thing. So I just wouldn't worry too much about like the fear of punishment. Do everything because you want to thank God and honor God for what he's done for you, not because you're scared he's going to punish you. You don't actually need to worry about that.
That's amazing. Okay, well, let's head into our final bit of this week's Alpha.
Great. We are going to watch an interview now with, and this is an amazing interview, with a guy who has really stepped into this idea of putting God at the center of his life. So he's somebody who definitely wasn't living God's way. He was chasing after all the other stuff that we were talking about. And then he had a moment of realization. And to see what he's done, or what God has done with his life, this purpose that God has had for his life as a result, this is what it looks like to enter into your life in all its fullness. Watch this.
I grew up as an only child. I was the good church kid. At 18, like so many bad cliches, I rebelled. Became a nightclub promoter. And over the next 10 years, from about 18 to 28, really climbed up New York's social ladder. At 28, I had gotten many of the things that I thought I wanted. My girlfriend was on the cover of magazines, I had a Beamer, I had a Rolex, I had a Labrador Retriever, I had a grand piano in my apartment in New York, and I was so unhappy. Something awakened in me, it was a realization maybe that I would never find happiness where I was looking for it. There would never be enough girls, there'd never be enough drugs, there'd never be enough parties. I guess it was a fresh look, being able to take a look at faith again with fresh eyes. And I became so compelled by a Jesus who went around serving the poor, who went around looking after others and lived a life of integrity. You know, there's this verse in James that I came across that said, true religion is to look after widows and orphans in their distress and to keep yourself from being polluted by the world. So I was 0 for 2. Not only had I done nothing for the poor in a decade, I literally polluted people for a living. I made this radical life move. I wound up selling all of my possessions. I joined this humanitarian mission, a group of medical doctors volunteering in West Africa, operating on a huge hospital ship, and I become their photojournalist. I saw a lot of stuff over those 2 years, and I think the thing that struck me the most was people drinking dirty water. Half of the country didn't even have their most basic need for health met. Half the country didn't have clean water to drink. And when I landed back in New York, I was 30. And this was the issue that I felt so compelled to work on. Charity Water was definitely birthed out of my faith experience, of me returning back to Christ, to God again. And I believe that the idea of Charity Water is very close to God's heart. I believe the idea of a world where every single person drinks clean water is so fluid, is so in line with the heart of God, the heart of the Father. And it's an amazing thing to be able to do with my work. Over the last 9 years, we've raised almost $200 million. We've helped over 5.5 million people around the world get access to clean water, so we've made a little bit of a dent. And most importantly, the number of people without water has come down from 1 billion to 660 million. If I look back on it, I think this idea of really trying to serve God through my work, has changed everything in my life. But I think, you can do that wherever you are, whether you're a banker, whether you're a florist. You can bring, the kingdom values that you believe in into your work, into the way that you serve your customers, into the way that you lead your team members, into the way that you support others.
What an amazing story.
So good.
So inspiring. That's what it looks like when we serve God first. We know this stuff is not easy. We have to let go of the stuff that we used to live for, and that's not an easy thing, is it? I mean, have you ever tried to, ask someone to stop doing something that they like doing?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't like it.
No.
I don't like it. If I say to you, Charles, stop watching that Stranger Things marathon.
Make me!
Yeah, you see?
Yeah.
People don't like that. If I say, Charles, stop building that Lego Princess Kingdom.
Never!
Yes, you see?
Sorry, you're just touching a lot on my back.
Wow, I feel like we're bringing some stuff up here. This is suddenly counselling. We don't like being told to stop living one way. But the reason we invite you to do that is because the life that you could step into is so much greater. Greater even than a Stranger Things marathon.
Or a Lego Disney castle.
Absolutely. And it's also hard, I don't know if you find this, to let people around us know that we're living differently. So that was true of my story earlier on. But, it's hard, isn't it? Like the social embarrassment that can come from like admitting you're like a Christian, like it's a real thing. Like we should be honest about it. And some of you guys are amazing at it, but the rest of us find it pretty hard. And so we recognize that that's hard too. But honestly, what we want to say today, this is our key point really. Following God is the only way that you will be truly happy in your life. It is the only way to truly be transformed so that you can live life in the fullest way imaginable, the fullest way that you were created to live, to be the person you were made to be. Ding, ding, ding. Goodbye.
I'm just glad that you didn't make me act out the sex bit.
So, you may have observed a slight difference to the screen now because Charles has gone off to do his improv club, which he does. Do we know Ollie? I'm going to do that so that Ollie comes on.
Yes.
Ollie, is he like in a show or something?
I believe so. Yes, they're doing like at some point soon is like an improv show on Zoom. It's very exciting.
Oh, great.
So yeah, but I think it's like a rehearsal for that. So
fair enough. So Charles has had to go to do had a good time this evening.
And that you are for us. Thank you that we are each made in your image and that you know us better than we sometimes know ourselves. Lord, I pray that you would help us and guide us towards your true purpose for our lives. Lord, I pray that in these changing times that you would bring peace to our fears, hope to our uncertainties, and love to our hearts in abundance. Lord, please bless all of us gathered here this evening and those who are watching the recording of this. Thank you, Lord, that we can each meet together. But thank you especially, Lord, that we can always meet with you in the midst of these times. In your faithful name, Lord. Amen.
Amen. See you next week, everyone.